But today, with Chase picking up the tab and guaranteed entry, no one was going to miss the opportunity. Everyone moved towards the parking lot arm in arm, supporting each other from already having a bit too much to drink. Through the tipsy chatter of his employees, Chase suddenly heard a familiar voice sound out behind him. "Chase Rothman?" He turned around and was immediately met by a familiar, gleeful face. "Tony Deem?" Tony was an old rival classmate of Chase's from college. In fact, both had pursued Celia at the same time. Of course, Chase had won that battle and Tony never seemed to be able to let it go. He couldn't understand then or now why Celia had chosen Chase, the less handsome of the two of them. What had she seen in him? After graduation, Tony had kept tabs on Celia and was presently aware of Chase and Celia's marital problems. He also knew of Dottie's congenital heart disease and of the family's financial plight. The more Tony had heard of Celia's sorrows, the angrier he had become. If Celia had only chosen him back in college, her life would have been so different today. Tony walked up to Chase with a giant smile. "Hey man, it's so good to see you. What a happy coincidence." He surprised Chase by wrapping him in a big hug. "What did you think of the food?" "You better say you liked it," he joked. "I'm managing the Smith restaurant group these days, so if you didn't like it, you're pretty much insulting me." Chase frowned slightly. The Smith restaurant group was iconic. It operated high-end luxury restaurants across the entire country. Tony was obviously someone if he was managing the operation. Chase couldn't shake the feeling that Tony was trying to one-up him. But he didn't want to take the bait and spoil his good mood. Instead, he casually said, "It's not a bad year to be working in tech either." "Totally," replied Tony. "That's a good gig. I bet you take home, what, $40,000, $50,000? I bet that's enough to keep you comfortable, right?" "It's enough," said Chase. "Well, if it's not enough, you can call me any time. I'm always down to help an old friend." Tony was positively beaming. He knew that for once he had the upper hand on Chase. "After all, I heard that your daughter is sick, so if there is a need for money, I'm happy to lend you some. For Celia's sake." "No need." Chase frowned. Tony continued. "How's Celia doing these days? It must be hard for her trying to help out financially. I really do feel for your family." Tony pulled out a business card and handed it to Chase. "Here's my card. If you come back to City Grill, just tell them you know me, and they'll give you a good discount." Chase's impatience was beginning to show through, but Tony continued, smirking. "Oh, and I hear that you and Celia might be getting a divorce. If so, have her stop by and I'll comp her a meal. I know you'd want to make sure she's taken care of." He winked at Chase. Chase's eyes narrowed. He'd forgotten how annoying Tony could be. On the surface, he was as jovial as ever, but underneath he was the same old Tony, constantly poking at Chase and undermining him. "Step off, Tony," Chase said, no hint of friendliness in his voice. "Ah, come on, man," replied Tony. "I'm just teasing. Can't old friends take care of each other?" "Celia and I don't need your help, and we're doing fine. All you heard were rumors." Chase could barely get the words out, he was so angry. It took all his effort not to punch Tony in his smirking face. Instead, Chase turned around and rejoined his happy employees as they made their way out of the restaurant. But Tony just couldn't let it go. He followed Chase down the hallway. "Come on, man. We haven't seen each other in so long. You can't leave now." Chase stopped. He turned around and met Tony face to face. "It must make you feel powerful, talking down on people who think are less than you. Does it make you feel like a man?" Tony was stunned. "I'm right though, aren't I?" he said. "It's all over town. Everyone knows that you and Celia are having problems. Chase was practically screaming at this point. Why can't you just leave me and Celia alone? Let me put it plainly for you. All those years ago, Celia chose me. Not you, me. Let it go, man. It's pathetic. And with that, he left Tony standing alone in the hallway of City Grill. Tony froze in his tracks. Had he misheard? What did you just say to me? I'm not in the habit of repeating myself. Chase replied coldly. I can't believe you're calling me pathetic. You're the pathetic one, Tony exploded. I'm the manager of the entire Smith restaurant group. I take home at least triple of what you make in 1 year, and you have the audacity to call me pathetic? You're a joke. Tony felt like his lungs were about to explode from the anger. Chase just stood there while Tony continued to roar. Celia was a fool to choose you. If she'd chosen me, she'd never have to worry. You'll never be able to give her what she deserves. You have no right to talk to me about being pathetic. Chase was angry too. Celia was a sore spot. He knew that he'd let her down all these years. He didn't need Tony to tell him that. But the fact that Tony was so eager to call Chase out for this failure was infuriating. Meanwhile, most of the Blitz Tech employees were now well aware of an argument between their boss and what appeared to be the manager of the restaurant. A few walked back to where Chase and Tony were standing and raised their voices in support of Chase. What's the problem? Did you just call Mr. Rothman pathetic? He just patronized your establishment and bought dinner for 100 employees. You should be thanking him. Hearing this, Tony burst out laughing. Are you kidding me? There's no way this loser bought you all meals. Maybe some kind of $1 Happy Meal. But dinner at my establishment? No way. You're all pathetic. The dozen or so employees that had struck around were now fuming alongside Chase. Tony wasn't just insulting Chase. He was insulting them. A few rolled up their sleeves in preparation for a fight. Tony remained unfazed. I think it's time for you all to leave, he said to the group before taking out his walkie-talkie and calling for security. Almost instantaneously, uniformed security came around the corner led by the head of security, Evan Barry. Evan stepped up beside Tony and asked, Mr. Deem, is everything okay here? Tony pointed at Chase and said, I'd like you to escort this man and his friends out of the restaurant immediately. Evan hesitated. He took another look at Chase before turning to Tony and whispering quietly.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.